The Xbox Series X has been out for just over a year now, same with the PlayStation 5, and they're both still incredibly hard to get. In this video, what I'm going to be talking about is basically, is the Xbox Series X worth getting, should you actually choose to go for that one, or are you better off just waiting it out or getting a PC, for example? But before this video begins, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, help it grow, everything like that, that'd be great. And with that being said, let's get into it. So what's your main reason for getting a Series X? Well, to begin with, you get 4K gaming at 120 FPS as long as the game has got FPS boosted allowed. Some games don't, obviously, they're older games, but overall, most of them you're basically going to always get 60 FPS on. Some games, I believe some of the Bethesda games especially, are still 30 FPS because Todd Howard has spoke about this, how he would rather have a game be 30 FPS and look really good than, let's say, 120 and look dreadful. You also get 1TB SSD in this thing, which you can use up basically the whole amount pretty easily with games, in comparison to, let's say, the PS5, where you only get access to about 800 GB worth instead of the whole 1TB, which is a bit weird. You can expand the storage for an extra £199. Unsure of how much it is for dollars wise. In the US, it's probably something around the same price, but in terms of what you get for that, you get a 1TB little card that you can slot straight into the back, which I may end up getting. With that, you actually get access so that the game will not always close the moment you close it, so it will kind of keep playing in the background without actually using up too much power on your Xbox. But again, one of the actual really great things of this is even when it's got all these games playing in the background, everything like that, it remains really quiet. It's probably one of the most quiet consoles I've ever owned at all. Maybe every now and again I hear the fans going, but the only time I've primarily ever heard the fan going on that thing was when I had a disc on the top of it and I didn't know the disc was there, and then it started going and I was like, why the hell is it making noise? I've never heard this thing make noise. Went over there, took the disc off, and it went back to being completely quiet. The only main thing really is just in terms of hardware anyway, is that it does get quite hot. It's kept literally just behind my TV, so all that entire area, when the Xbox is turned on, it gets fairly warm behind there. But it isn't so warm to the point where it might worry you, so that isn't something you have to be worried about. Now, the next question you'll have for yourself is really, when should you look at getting one? I'd probably say as soon as possible, primarily because of the exclusivities at this point. The next gen consoles are ones that will get things like Starfield. You'll be able to get it on PC as long as you have Game Pass, for example, and you should be able to buy it through Microsoft, I believe. But in terms of what you're actually getting, you will not be able to play games like Starfield or future games at all on the last gen consoles, and Cyberpunk is a great game that will prove this to everyone, which was the fact that they were unable to play on the last gen consoles and even on some PCs. So even if you have a really great PC or you have a Xbox One X, so the closest thing to a Series X or a Series S, you may end up needing to completely scrap it and go straight up to the next gen console to play most games that will be coming out in the future. So should you look at maybe getting a PC, Xbox or PlayStation? Overall for myself, I only have a PS5 and a PS4 beforehand to play the exclusives. I don't really care about PlayStation besides that. Most of my friends play on Xbox or on PC, so I do play on both of those a lot more. I'd say play wherever your friends are playing, so if they are playing on PlayStation, I'd probably recommend going for a PlayStation over an Xbox, as there is rumors that eventually Game Pass will come to PlayStation anyway, so you may end up seeing that down the road. But in terms of what you're getting right now, I'd definitely say what you should be following is kind of these next three questions, which is firstly, where are your friends playing? That is number one. The second question is, what games do you want to play? And the third question is how much are you willing to spend? As you're not going to find a PC that's worth $449 or pounds. I don't remember if it is that amount in dollars. I think it might be $500 anyway. That will allow you to play 4K gaming at 120 FPS. It's just not going to happen at all. So really, those three questions come into account because really, if you're not willing to spend a ton of money, don't get a PC. If your friends play on PC, but you want to play some games with them, then get an Xbox. And if you want to play some games of them, generally speaking, but most of your friends play on PlayStation, then I'd probably recommend getting a PlayStation. I'd probably say the best place to get a Series X and just any of the next gen consoles at all is going to be Amazon. I work for a company in the UK where I was lucky enough to get one earlier on, but generally speaking, they're out of stock almost all the time, and they never put them on the websites anymore because it crashes the websites. Amazon does put it on the website, obviously, because there's no in-store Amazon to go to. But one of the best things to do on Amazon anyway is basically set up your buy now button and feature anyway on Amazon. And what you'll do is just, the moment they're available on Amazon, you can just swipe it straight away and it will buy the PlayStation or Xbox. I bought the PlayStation through Amazon and it took the money straight off my credit card because for some reason it changed it from my debit card to credit card. So yeah, even though I had the money available, it just said no. But yeah, in terms of websites though, there is tons of websites at this point which will tell you when the stock's going to be coming in. Amazon is your best bet overall because they do staggered stock release as well. Typically, for example, I believe they were basically bringing them out on either Wednesday, Thursday or Fridays, and they would come out between 9 o'clock, and then once they were sold out, you'd then have another release at 11 and then another one at 1 o'clock. So basically meaning they couldn't all be sold at once. In terms of how to play the Xbox at its fullest potential, I'd recommend once you've got the Xbox, do whatever you want in terms of peripherals, everything like that. But if you're going to be playing it, I would definitely recommend getting Game Pass. Honestly, if you've got about £20 a month to spare on gaming, I'd definitely recommend getting Game Pass with EA Access if you want to just kind of stay in the loop of most games. Because you'll be paying $14.99 in terms of pounds in the UK, and that'll get you Xbox Live and Game Pass. And then for the extra $5, you'll get EA Access, and that basically allows you to play most first-person shooters, and as well as that, you get access to the massive game catalog that Game Pass gives you. And another great thing, if you are a UK user of Game Pass though, it's not a thing that's going to be on the US version, I don't believe. They may end up doing it if they decide to be pro-consumer, but they probably won't if they don't have to. In the UK, they're making it a thing now that if they find out that you haven't been using Game Pass, let's say, at all for, I think it's about 3-4 months, one of the two, basically it'll automatically cancel your subscription, so you're no longer paying for a service you are not using. Hopefully they end up doing this across the board, but yeah, it's just something that if you are a UK user, you can be aware of, just because it actually is kind of good for a change to see a company doing something, minus they were forced to by the government versus being forced to because, you know, they wanted to actually be pro-consumer. But that's a completely different discussion anyway. With that all being said, hopefully this video gave you a little bit of an idea. Obviously, I don't want to tell you exactly what console to go for. I will be making a PlayStation 5 video at some point in the next month or so, talking about the PlayStation 5 and my thoughts on it. As someone who generally, I don't really mind playing on whatever console, but I only played the PlayStation for the exclusivity. But in terms of what you're going to get with the Xbox, you're going to get a very good home cinema kit, basically, which allows you to play games at a very good rate without making much noise, in comparison to the PlayStation 5, which sounds like a jet engine for the first minute of it turning on, and then after that works fine and is dead silent. Now that all being said though, I'll see you guys in the next video. If you did enjoy, leave a like and do subscribe to see more content like this in the future. I upload gaming content every Friday, and then whatever I want on Wednesdays, and once a month at the end of the month generally I upload a game critique video, so if you are interested in that, make sure to subscribe for more of that. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.